Another Kentucky Magazine on ICN6. I'm Nancy James. It seems like we're getting you in shape today, and why not? I think it's good for all of us. We brought on board Brian Calkins, who is the president of Health Style Fitness in Cincinnati, and he's got some great tips for us on the freshman 15, that dreaded 15 that we warn our kids about when they go off to college. And you know, I think all of us, sometimes in the wintertime, we put on that freshman 15 just because we're less active.
Absolutely, without a doubt.
What are the pitfalls?
Well, in terms of the winter 15 for all of us adults, if you look at what we do as we build up to winter, we have November and December where there's a lot of holidays. A lot of social gatherings, lots of opportunities to eat a lot of food, consume some alcoholic beverages, and not move as much. We're just not as motivated in the wintertime to get outdoors, get in some exercise, and we tend to add a few pounds between November 15th and January 1st when we all say, hey, now it's time to reverse that trend.
Right, right. You know, we just had that young man on, Joseph Harrington, who at 8 years old is moving like that, and he's burning off his calories, and your metabolism at a young age is at the rate where you tend to burn them naturally. But the older we get, our metabolism slows down, and so that's working against us as well.
It is working against us. And I also think as we are younger, we have more exercise type things built in. If we play sports, you know, we're constantly moving, whether it's soccer, football, any of the sports, basketball. And as we age, our priorities tend to shift. We need to earn a living. We need to have a professional career, and that's where our energies go. And we don't act like kids anymore. You know, we're serious, and we're moving a whole lot less.
Let's talk about those kids that are at school. Most of them have played, physical activities of sports their whole high school careers or whatever. They get to school and there's buffets and there's parties and they're studying more, hopefully, and maybe moving around less. So that's where that 15 comes on?
Yes, and I should note that the freshman 15, there's not any science to back that up, that the average student gains 15 pounds. But I think if we look at the students going into college and then coming out, many of them do gain a lot of weight. I'm a good example. When I left high school, I was 160 pounds. By the time I started my sophomore year, I had gained 45 pounds. So for me personally, you know, I tripled the freshman 15, so to speak.
Wow.
And
you always have to do one better than the next one, don't you? That competitive spirit of
I don't
yours.
know. I don't think I can follow that last act. But if we look at, again, I think it all comes down to structure. And growing up, we have a lot of structure. We have mom and dad who might be cooking breakfast for us. We might have family dinner. If at the least they're kind of overseeing our nutrition and they're saying, make sure you eat the right things. We get this newfound freedom as a freshman.
Exactly.
And nobody's taught us how to eat correctly. So we have that to deal with. We have the fact that maybe we played sports or we're active. We had to ride our bike anywhere we needed to go. And now all of a sudden that's gone. We're on campus. We're not moving as much. So I recommend that if you didn't get a college scholarship to play your favorite sport, join an intramural team. It's a great way to meet new people. It's a great way to get your exercise in. So there's a lot of things. If you look at sleep patterns of college students, they often are cramming late at night for an exam the next morning. There's not the structure of mom and dad saying you have to be in bed by 10 o'clock.
Right.
So when we are sleep deprived, our cortisol levels raise and we tend to store more body fat, especially around the abdomen area. Exactly. So there's lots of reasons. But I think if we can walk to classes as opposed to drive or take the campus transportation, ride a bike to classes. If you live in a dorm room and you're on the 10th floor, take the steps. You don't have to wait 10 minutes for that elevator. You'll get 30 minutes of exercise just walking to classes, walking to the library, walking to the cafeteria. And then I also think that we need to create an awareness. And that's where a college freshman needs to have some accountability, so to speak. Go to a guidance counselor, find out about nutrition. Most colleges will give you a class on it or a workshop or some kind of resource to begin to allow you to make healthier choices.
And there's always an activity center, you know, a great big, most universities have a place where you can work out, whether it's on the elliptical machines or, any kind of activity that you can be involved in when the weather isn't conducive to being on an intramural team.
Right. Yeah, the rec centers in colleges are fabulous. State-of-the-art equipment, great programs, and for most kids, most students, they're free.
And, since they do have those buffets in the concession area, when you're grabbing your dinner, grab an extra apple or something that you can take take with you to your room, because that vending machine can be your worst enemy at night.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The pops, the empty calories, that's the other thing.
Yeah, lots of opportunities to eat food that is not going to support
Right.
maintaining a good weight level.
Yeah, well, in your room, it's hard to store the healthy things. You know, most of the time you don't have a little fridge or anything, so you just have a bag of Doritos or something like that you can,
Exactly.
help the munchies.
And if you can, try to eat frequently, smaller meals. I like to say, have some kind of a lean protein, chicken breast, have some kind of a whole grain carbohydrate, have some sort of fibrous carbohydrate, something like a whole fruit, like you were talking about,
Right.
or a vegetable. And use the guideline of how much of those 3 items can fit in the palm of your hand. And eat that amount every 3 to 4 hours. And what that does is it's constantly giving the body the nutrition, the energy that it needs, not just for physical activity, but these calories also fuel the brain. Helps you
Right.
pay attention more in classes, be able to be more efficient in studying. That also will eliminate those blood sugar dips. When our blood sugar goes down, we tend to eat a lot more than we actually need in a single setting or a single meal, and will help even out the calories and allow us to maintain a better weight level.
Well, you can tell he knows his stuff. That's why he's the president of Health Style Fitness. And Brian Calkins will be back in just a moment to take us through a typical workout that will be conducive both to our teenagers, our college kids, and ourselves when we return to Northern Kentucky Magazine on ICN 6.